that is going to, one thing people are going to remember from Kakande from 5 years from now, 10 years from now, are people who are starting to dream that 1 billion is achievable where they thought it was not achievable in their mindset. The new kind of middle class where we are in, people who can afford to save 1 million or two somewhere. So why am I starting from there is this, right? Long term is much more important than short term achieving something, especially when I know you can achieve it right away. The compounding game is a compounding game. It's the same game. But depending on the goals you have, the choice of even the bonds you choose, the choice of your investments you make are different. I'll tell you why. If you sit back and say, I want to achieve a bar in 10 years with this exact amount of money, I'll tell you just go and buy a 15-year bond. Just keep buying that. It gives you a net return of 14% after tax. Every time they pay you, you put it back in, even if you do not put in any more money of yours. In 10 years, 11 years, you'll achieve 1 billion. But that is easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but for you who has already managed to raise up this big amount of money, for the people who can easily raise up 200 million, that becomes easy. But if we set it up differently, we say no, in 10 years, try to stretch it to make it times 2. Then that changes the goal. It changes two things. It means you're going to imply to go in like for some 25-year bonds, 15-year bonds, 20-year bonds. You want to be paid a little bit more often such that you take advantage of the market. We're going to talk about that. 2, you're going to start implicitly saying anything that doesn't pay you 14% and above, you do not want it, and that becomes an imprint in your financial journey. You're like, anything does not give me 14%, I don't want it. Why? It's slowing me down. 14% net. Then all of a sudden, some unit trusts will not be attractive to you because you'll be like, you will slow me down. My goal is much bigger. In investments, we are allowed to accelerate with the speed for as long as we understand where we are going, So you start cutting out some clutters where you'd be like, no, I do not want, I'm not taking that decision. I must invest that money. 3, you're going to start topping up a little bit more aggressively. Why? Investments becomes the first priority, not the last priority. And that's not to cut out from every expense that you have, school fees, home, whatever. But maybe where you're about to go take a trip to Dubai, you'll be like, you know what, even recently bomb did. Let's go to Zanzibar. You have saved another $1,000. You're going to invest it. Where you're about to go buy some shirts, 5 pairs, you're going to be like, I'll buy 3. The other 2. So you start finding a way to cut out the fat. I learned that word from the Andrews, where they said you learn which fat to cut out from your budgets as a home. Why? Because you want that money now to go and chase something bigger. That in 10, 15 years from now, because of where you are, the foundation you have, it's achievable. It's going to be painful and stretchy, but it's achievable. But if one day in 10 years from now you wake up and you are a 2-bar kind of family, sitting all heading for $1 million, you will move comfortable. You will do everything more comfortable. That's when people started dreaming that my kids are not studying from Makerere. They must go out. That's when you start being like, the quality. So let's set the bar different. So now, why am I starting from there is we're going to talk about the bonds, which bonds to choose and how to choose. But I wanted us to set the bar different. Elevate it. When you elevate it and it makes you, I tell people, when it comes to setting goals, it must make you not even sleep. And sometimes the time is you must be like, I can't sleep because, man, I'm falling behind or I'm excited. Both ways can be true. There are times when you're chasing, I don't know if you've ever worked on a project which gets you excited, but you know it's going to be extremely painful. But the day you will achieve it, you'll be like, yes. It's not going to be a walk in a park. So even financial goals should be exactly in that regard. Exactly where you sit back and be like, I'm going to do absolutely everything to achieve this because I know it's painful. But I know if I achieve it, or even if I achieve 80% of it, I'll be there. I would have changed my generations to come.